I believe that the market is soon going to just explode. So we're going to get into what I call spring-loaded crypto and how to know which ones are going to rocket further, faster. We all know that when the market goes down, all the various cryptocurrencies go down. But they go down by various percentages. And then when they jump, they can jump by different percentages. Obviously, we want to be in the ones that are going to rocket the most. I'll give you an example here at the end of one that just took off on some particular news. So how do we keep an eye on which ones we think will do well? I'm going to show you my strategy and what I'm doing for all of the various cryptos I follow in multiple categories. I'm Brian, Big Dumb Animal. That's my disclaimer. Don't do what I do. It's informational purposes only. So why did I say that I think the market in general is going to rocket up? Well, it seems that at the moment, this is April 7th, April 8th, April 9th, there's three things going on. Money supply. We've talked about that. You've seen lots of people show different charts on the money supply and the fact that there's a lag and it started to move a while back. And now in April, it's been working its way into the system. So we've got money supply on the upswing. That's a positive. Then, of course, there's liquidity, which is somewhat different. Think of money supply as immediately available money versus liquidity, money that may have to jump through a hoop or two, like go to a bank and get a personal loan and then get the money and then you have money. Okay, so they're essentially the same thing. It's more money in the market. And how are you to obtain it? The third thing, which we all know, is this whole tariff situation, which is holding things back. So what do I mean when I say things are spring-loaded? I've been buying crypto for this, what I believe to be market run, bull run, for well over a year, probably end of 23. And I've bought throughout 24. And the prices I paid in 24 are substantially higher than they are today, yet I still believe in the prices I paid originally, and even more so now when I see all of the development and changes. Cryptocurrency is moving forward regardless of what the prices in the market are. They're still building, they're still developing, and things are still moving forward, albeit different rates for different crypto. I'm going to show you specifically what I do. I look at categories, and within each category, I like to look at the crypto and compare it to one another, because many believe that things move in waves. If the focus is on AI for a while, or the focus is on gaming, what's going to move within those? So let's look at AI. If you just head over here to CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko, you go to cryptocurrencies, categories, and there's various categories if we sort by name. Now, AI has a lot of different ones, AI memes, AI agents, but AI and big data is the main category for AI. If we look down here, I'm only going to choose a couple. Some of these aren't just AI. Near internet computers, not just AI. Near protocol, yes, built specifically for AI. There's a whole backstory to that. I actually did a video on it if you're interested. bittensor, yes. Filecoin, not really. Distributed file storage, render. It's not really just AI, it's for rendering, but the GPUs are used for AI computational because they have behind NVIDIA. So it will probably move with AI and with other categories as well. We come down here, fetch, artificial superintelligence. Notice here, these numbers are not sequential, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Why? Because it's actually showing you the rank among all cryptocurrencies. So you can go all the way down here. These are the ones that are in the top 100 of all crypto. Near's 33, bittensor 44, Fetch. It's called now Artificial Superintelligence Alliance, but it still has a ticker FET, number 63. Okay, so we're going to look at those three. One of the first things I like to do, and I'm just going to go into one because all of these are in the top 100, but you can do this for any category. I like to go into each one and say, what markets are they on? Now, here are the top exchanges. And here they are sequentially: Binance, Bybit, Coinbase, Upbit, OKX, BitGet, MEXC. Why does this matter? Well, you want to make sure that the crypto you have is available to the most people. And you want it to be on the biggest exchanges. That's not always going to be the case. And it doesn't mean the crypto isn't going to move, but less friction is always best. Binance is the largest, Bybit, Coinbase. But notice this. If you go over to the side here, number of coins. Binance, Bybit, Coinbase, 480, 768, 295. That's not a lot of listings on major exchanges. You have to come down here to MEXC and Gate.io, and I use these because sometimes there's crypto I need to get that isn't on these major exchanges, or I have to use specific ways of getting projects that are on ICP or projects on Hedera. But anyway, the point is you want to see, are they on these larger exchanges? So bittensor, yeah, Binance, Coinbase, MEXC. So if things start to move and they move fast, are people going to be able to obtain it? Yep, no problem. I'm not going to go into each one of those three because they all pretty much are on all the major exchanges. Now, next thing I like to look at is I want to know, are they building? Is there a lot of news around that? And also, what about social mentions and what people are talking about? Because that can push it as well. So social mentions, we're going to look at Lunar Crush. News, I just did some searches using Grok. And then also, lastly, the actual X accounts, Twitter accounts of each one. If you have or haven't used Lunar Crush, excellent service. I like it a lot. And you have to pay for it, but I just went in here and you can just use these nice little bubbles and you can choose something like AI as a sector. So I chose AI and I said top 100. So if you do the top 500, it's going to show more. But as you notice from the screenshot, the top 100, there's only a couple: Fetch, bittensor, TAO, and Near. And they've got various scores and information you can pull up. This is what I like to pull up: engagements. You can see here, and this is either on an hourly or a daily, but 280,000 engagements across all types of social media. But just note, look at them compared to each other. bittensor, bigger the circle, more engagements. It's about twice as much. Again, mentions of it about twice as much. Now, why is it green versus red? Green means there's more over the past hour or past day than there was before, so more and more mentions about them. I like sentiment. Sentiment is from 0 to 100. 100 means, and you can see these are 89, that means that 89% of the interactions in social media is positive news about Fetch. Then you've got 86, 81, 78, so that's good. Now you can dive into each one just to show you that they show these various things like engagements over a period of time. Last summer, November, December were the highest. Actually, I think I pulled up render earlier. You can see last summer when the market was moving, everything was high. It was high again. Now it's down pretty low. But it gives you an idea of how they compare to one another in the total market. Social dominance. Here you go. 0.45. Of all crypto mentions across social media, of all the various cryptocurrencies, in those conversations, 0.45% are bittensor. 0.2 for Near. bittensor is twice as much. This tells you that we've got a lot more social interactions, mentions, and discussions, and more positivity around bittensor. Sometimes these maps can be much different. It's not a huge difference here. All right, now let's look at the various news. The first one we're going to look at is FET, the Artificial Superintelligence Alliance. If you're not familiar, there were multiple cryptos, 3 pulled together to create the Artificial Superintelligence Alliance. They merged, and then they brought in a 4th one, which was more infrastructure. All right, so they've got 4 major things that happened here recently. Artificial upgraded the Rainbow Bridge to Omni Bridge. I believe all of them did this. Omni Bridge is ability to move things cross-chain much easier than the way they were doing before. Then they said that they had what they call their chain signatures update, higher throughput, less latency. Okay, faster, less latency. Then they were introduced, they call bit tenants on Berachain, and that allowed them to swap across 12 different chains. And then this was the big one. They call it the ASI-1 mini LLM debuts. Launched the first Web3 native large language model, achieved within 30 days, showing how fast using their stack Fetch Artificial Superintelligence Alliance basically has a stack, development stack for creating these AI agents and language models, everything related to what you want to do with artificial intelligence. They create the whole, call it supply chain, if you will. Okay, so they've been developing and they had one major one. Let's look at Near. Here you go. Again, Near, same thing. They had the OmniBridge update, signatures update boosting, same thing. They implemented this 300% increased throughput, 50% reduction in latency, and then they also had to Berachain integration. So Near had done essentially the same things as ASI. Now let's look at BitTensor. They had the OmniBridge update. Now they had this TAO white paper. They had Coinbase listing. They weren't previously listed on Coinbase. Now they are. They've got an on-chain insurance program, which is helping. Well, they say it helps for network participants. DeepSeek, which we've all heard about, that was what blew up the market regarding AI, claiming they could do things with a lot less processors. Subnet activity, they saw an unprecedented builder activity, over 70 subnet tokens generating 120 million in daily volume by March 8th. It was launched on January 9th, doubling Tao's own volume. So as you can see, Tao essentially did the same things that the other two did and even more, which makes sense because we saw that they had twice as much social dominance. And what are we looking for? We're looking for which one of these is going to be more of a spring. What I mean by that is if you push down on a spring and you let go, it's going to shoot out. And the more you compress that spring, when you finally let go, the more power it's going to have. So we're looking for, during these down markets, who is generating the most in terms of development, in terms of social mentions, everything. In my mind, that's like a spring being compressed, and I believe that that one will take off and run faster and farther than the rest. So within these top 100 are AI, looking at BitTensor, Near, and Fetch. I feel like BitTensor is the one that's loading up the most and will have the most trajectory. All right, now let's look at pricing and then some things that will make them really take off. Before we do that, if you go to my main page, actually, first I should say, please like this video if you haven't already. Really appreciate it. Leave comments, which of these you like or don't like, or what AI you may have. Also, if you go to my main page, you can join as a member. It's like $5 a month, really just to support me, and you can get into being able to leave comments in another section. There's a member section. We can talk back and forth about those videos. But really what I'd love you to do is join the school community down below. There is a monthly fee, but you can have direct conversations with myself and other like-minded people in the space. And I'll be doing more of these within categories within the school community in the upcoming days. So now let's look at the actual charts. First we have FET. This is essentially 2024. Back here, all the way to where we are today. I shouldn't laugh. It's terrible. If you were to draw a line across, it's lower than it was a year ago. Look, it had run from 60 odd cents to 330, and now it's all the way back down to 37 cents. I believe that's incredibly undervalued. In my opinion, it's incredible how low this one's gone, but you can see if it just goes back to last summer, 30-something, that's a 10x just to get back to last summer's prices. All right, next one's up. Let's look at Near Protocol. If we go back again, 2024, Near is down again, just like the chart looks very similar, slightly below what it was last January of last year, around $2, and it could go up to $9 just to be last year's summer. That would be a 4x. BitTensor here going the moment 195. And last summer it was around 700. That's a 3 to 4x. Now in terms of movement, it looks like Fetch could do a 10x just to get to last summer. That's interesting. BitTensor has the most news, it seems, around it. Had twice the social dominance at the moment. And it looks like it could 3 or 4x to get to last summer. If we look at the different markets that they're on, and you can see here the depth. It says +2, -2. That's the amount of money needed on that particular market to be traded to move plus positive up 2% the price or down 2%. You can see here it's not a substantial amount. Coinbase 200,000, Binance, USDT, USDC, put them together, 600,000 it looks like, BitGet, MEXC. So even though it's a 4 billion fully diluted, it's only a couple 100,000 here, a couple 100,000 there in chunks, and you're moving by 2% increases. The smaller cap ones, it can be substantially less needed to move the price. Why do I mention that? I mention that because even though it's a huge market cap, it doesn't take a lot of capital to move it. So that's why I think if some of these things are compressed, I believe the whole market is being pushed down right now. But some of these have a lot more news and social presence than the others, so they could spring load even faster. Look at this one that I was fascinated with. I bought into it a while ago. It's Tune.fm. And the music creator Snoop Dogg decided he was going to move onto their platform. It's a token on the Hedera network. And here it is on this date, February 27th, is when he announced that he was moving onto their platform. So look at the price action just kind of sideways until here. And we can measure it here and see what this looked like. From there to where it peaked was 500% within a matter of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 days. It took a while for that news to make the rounds, to be spread, but in a period of just 9 days, it did a 5x. 9 days. That's on a Monday, and all of a sudden it's next Wednesday, and you have 5x'd. That's substantial, obviously. So news can propel something. So once I think all these tariff things are done with and the market starts moving, I'm going through personally the ones I own. I have over 60 crypto and I'm doing it within categories. I'm going to be doing much more of these within my school community if you're interested, to see which ones seem to be compressed the most. And there may be categories where one is a huge outlier. That's what we're looking for. I'm starting with the largest market caps first, with the idea being that theoretically they're the safest because they're the largest market caps, to see if we can find outliers within those and then moving down. That's just one of the things I'm doing to help prepare for these markets. I think in the next day or two, I'll be talking about how you can move capital within them and why you might want to do that even now when the market's down substantially, and it really won't hurt your positions. And hopefully it will help them in a positive manner. Have a great day. Thank you for watching. Hope we can all make generational wealth together with crypto. Bye.